What could go wrong?
A lot could go wrong.
What does the button do?
What does the button do?
What does the button do?
I still want to know what the button does.
God only knows.
What's happening right now? If you could rewind all the way back to 1995 and said, you know what I think we need to do? I think we need to put speakers and microphones out here. What would they have said?
They would all said, you're crazy. We're not doing that. I'm Aaron Beck. I'm the audio systems designer for the Bluecoats Drum Bugle Corps.
Drum Corps International is proud to present the Bluecoats.
Is this whole truck audio?
The whole truck is audio, yes. And at this point, we've kind of figured out what fits in terms of logistics, both on and off the truck, what the kids can manage setting up and tearing down, and what the staff can deal with on a day-to-day basis. We really set the system up and down 3 times a day. We set it up once at rehearsal. We'll set it up a second time in the lot for the front ensemble rehearsal, and then once for the show. So we talk about these large productions that have months to set everything up and make sure it works. We really have to make sure that what we built can be set up in 2 minutes, work during the show, and then be torn off and go back into a truck 3 times a day. 12 hours ago, we wrapped up rehearsal near Lubbock, Texas. Over the last couple days, we've been working our way east. We started the tour in California and then headed east. So we had a show in Phoenix on Monday, a show in Albuquerque, New Mexico Tuesday, rehearsal Wednesday, and then now we're in Dallas. A show tonight in Dallas, a show tomorrow night in Houston, and then a large regional in San Antonio on Saturday.
And what's the schedule today?
Scheduled today is about a 3 to 4 hour rehearsal block in the afternoon. And then we'll get set up for the show tonight in Denton. And then we'll put it all in the truck tonight, travel to Houston, and do it all over again tomorrow.
Okay, so this was super controversial back when I marched in the very early aughts, so 99 to 2001.
Yeah.
And then this became, pardon us, I actually helped this very drum corps when it became legal to start this. And I'm kind of blown away with how many speakers just kept coming off the truck.
Yeah.
Because I think maybe at max we had half of one of those and times 2.
Yep.
Has that controversy kind of subsided, or is it still pervasive? And how has that changed over the past 20 years?
I think it depends on who you ask, whether or not the controversy is still there or not. But at this point, I think most people have accepted it. And the thing that I really like to touch base on is we perform in less than ideal acoustic environments, specifically finals inside at Lucas Oil Stadium. We all like the activity outside where it's very direct and in your face. But we move inside and it becomes really washy. So when I look back at Amplification, when it started in 2004, everybody had a standard loudspeaker that you'd use at your little high school band room, essentially. It was a club series speaker. The horn spread was not ideal for what we need to do for 20,000 people in an NFL stadium. So we've gotten to the point now that we're using line array speakers in a smaller format that have a directionality control. So all of a sudden we're able inside to get a little bit of reinforcement on that direct sound back to the audience that doesn't exist without reinforcement. And I really like to say reinforcement versus amplification. From a standpoint, it is still an acoustic event. So at the end of the day, our goal is just to take that acoustic event and make it a little louder and a little more direct for the audience. But it all starts with the members and what they're performing live, just we're able to support that.
Did you march drum corps?
I did. I marched Bluecoats 1995. I was a saxophone player in high school, caught the marching band bug, and then ended up marching cymbal line as part of the battery in 1995. So
now, if you could rewind all the way back to 1995, if you would have chimed up and said, you know what I think we need to do? I think we need to put speakers and microphones out here. What would they have said?
They would all said, you're crazy. We're not doing that. The thought of outside and dealing with microphones. So Yeah, to see where we've kind of evolved, specifically over the last 10 years, has been really fun to come back to the corps that I marched in and as an alumni and give back and then really take the activity to a new level in terms of professional audio. So now we've got all of the audio off the truck. Members have gotten it to the audio staff. We've got a four-wheeler that's connected. We call the audio train, and it's got the mixer carts, it's got our generators, and then the 6 front speaker carts that we're able to easily, with a couple guys, move it into position.
What's being set up right here? Does that have to do with you?
This tent, yes. That's how we keep the equipment working during the hot summer day. So we have a tarp. At all times, we travel with 3 audio engineers on tour with us. So they're in the process of getting the tent, and then they'll start with the mixer cart and starting to set up all of the speaker carts.
And I think I'm officially in the way here. Yep, definitely in the way.
You're good.
So I'm assuming the board is going to be set up right here.
The board is in that cart.
Oh, okay.
All electronics live in those 2 carts. All of the equipment that we purchase is really weather rated and designed to be outside. You know, we purchase pro level equipment, maintain it at the highest standards, and it's designed to operate outside. Just wouldn't want to be in the direct sunlight.
Do you ever have a hard time finding power?
No, we travel with our own power. So we have 2 Yamaha 6300 watt generators. So that delivers us per side 2 essentially 20 amp circuits. So the entire system runs on 4 20 amp 120 circuits for this.
Okay, so I've never shot anything in such heat before. I think the temperature is in the 90s, probably feels like it's in the hundreds. My camera keeps shutting down. So camera died, new camera. I've never used this camera before, freaked out, we're gonna find out. It so happens in Texas, right now it's probably in the 90s, but I just got a little blast of cool air, and there's a big dark cloud coming that way. So what happens if that turns into lightning?
Yeah, so we get an alert if there's lightning within X number of miles. And at that point, we'll tarp everything and we will head to the truck. If it's not lightning and it's just rain, everything's kind of staged with tarps, and we're able to tarp and kind of stay in position if the rain isn't that bad. But everybody's ready at a moment's notice to change planes.
Sideways rain, fat rain. There was even rain that came from the ground. And then one day, the rain just stopped.
I'm John Chung, and I'm the lead audio engineer at the Bluecoats. I've been here since 2022, and right now we're about to roll with the sound check after some brief rain and get rehearsal rolling.
What's the most challenging part of your job?
I think making sure that from stadium to stadium, trying to bring the same performance across every venue, no matter dome, outdoor stadium, high school, whatever size. Just about trying to get the same experience for every audience member from show to show. But it's a fun puzzle to solve.
When we get to the show site, we always go check out the angles that we need to put these loudspeakers at for the spread in terms of the audience. So this card allows us to change the angles every 5 degrees in terms of the overall bottom box. And then on these 2 speakers, we have infills for audio really close for the judges. But in this stadium, there's a concrete wall that's pretty close right behind the mixer. And we get a lot of slap back off of that wall. So we're probably going to mute these tonight, just knowing we might have some feedback issues with that concrete structure. From time to time, we'll adjust the individual angles between the boxes. But for the most part, this is set so that these 2 speakers couple together and really give us that far throw to the back of the stadium, and then combination of the middle box and the bottom box cover more down front. For warm-up, we use a smaller system. So this team is getting ready now for what we call pit lot. So we'll use the 2 pit stacks. These are the speakers that live on the 35-yard line. We'll power up both generators, and then we'll use the mixer and the RF cart in a small configuration, just to make sure that from the truck, from the end of rehearsal to the truck now to getting ready, that all of our microphones are still working and active prior to going into the stadium.
So effectively, you're going to mix everything down to 2, and then when you go into the stadium, you're going to re-expand it back out to all of it.
But remember, these carts only have the front ensemble.
Right.
So we're using the carts that in the stadium amplify the front ensemble. We don't need necessarily these 4 because the brass isn't here as part of warm-up.
Right.
So we've got the RF cart now set up, and our A2 is getting ready to do his first scan of the night to look at TV channels, and then he'll start to deploy and assign frequencies for tonight's show that might be slightly different than the rehearsal site this afternoon. You know, at this point, we're almost an hour and 15 minutes away from where we were for rehearsal. So we'll do a full scan again and get ready to deploy all of our frequencies prior to the show. Everybody has an assigned task. Everybody knows in terms of what order, what needs to happen in terms of getting everything ready for the start of warm-up and then ultimately the show tonight.
Okay, so it looks like the front ensemble are setting up right in front of us. So the stadium is that way, so I assume that they're going to be behind the buses here pointing this way.
Correct.
As to not disturb.
Yeah, what's going on in the stadium. So we always look in terms of where we unload, where we can set up and do a warm-up without going another mile that way. Because at the end of the warm-up, we've got to get ready to train it all to the stadium. So yeah, they'll do their group of exercises and their individual pit warm-ups, and then usually the battery will come over and join, and we'll do a full percussion ensemble of the entire show in the lot here. We'll definitely have a crowd, usually.
Fully mic'd and everything.
Fully mic'd, just so we know everything's working. And then, yeah, we'll be ready to roll after we do the full lot run. Large shows, the lot turns into a show within a show for the large groups that have a following.
Okay, so what's the schedule tonight look like?
So the schedule, we'll log into Blue Pit 26.
Blue Pit 26, what's that on?
So that is on Slack. That's the communication tool that we use. So the pit staff will call out the schedule for the night. So we'll get set up and get ready to start warm up at 8:25. We'll do a pit run at 8:55, followed by a full percussion run with the battery at 9:10. And then we'll push to the gate. So we're at the gate at 9:50, and then Gravity and Grace is 10:07. And all the members react, comment, so that they've seen the message, so that everybody's fully aware what the schedule is for the day.
It's like an office job, just not an office.
It is every bit of logistics and organized as any other professional organization would run.
How many performers and how many staff members?
So 165 performers. And I think at this point we're close to 75 staff and design team. So close to 225, between 200 and 225 people moving down the road.
How does this differ from a Broadway tour? What's similar, what's different?
Yeah, I like to say the sad thing about drum corps is, in terms of Broadway, you do a bunch of rehearsals, you perfect the show, and then you hit what's known as the preview period, which during previews, you adjust, you make small changes, all to prepare for that opening night. And then if you've got a successful show, it runs for years and years and years. With drum corps, we do spring training, which is our rehearsal period. I like to say our tour is that preview period, getting ready for what I would call opening night, finals night in Indianapolis in Lucas Oil Stadium. I look at that as our opening night. We've gone through our preview period, we've made adjustments, we've made the show as perfect as possible. The sad thing is, it only ever runs for one night because we don't get the ability to go and see that version over and over. It's literally trying to perfect something for one night. At the end, we reap the rewards, and then the next year we create something new. Once you're in rehearsal production for a Broadway show, once the audio system's set up, it's set up, and it stays there and doesn't really change for the entire period. This is now setup number 2, and tonight we'll finish with setup number 3 of a full professional audio system just in one day. So we'll do it 3 times again tomorrow, 3 times on Sunday. This is year 3 of this little box. It maybe has some magic features.
And we got comments from percussion judges that because they walk by us pretty regularly, and so had a friend who's a percussion judge that walked by, and this was mounted on the front very prominently, and it just said, "Do not touch this button." And he's like, "What does the button do?
What does the button do?
What does the button do?"
I still want to know what the button does. I don't know if you've explained that in this code or not, but I'm still wanting to know what the button does.
We're not quite
God
sure.
only knows.
Yes, God only knows.
So, hypothetically, if I slide over here in the middle of the thing and slap it, what could go wrong?
Oh, a lot could go wrong.
You just don't put a red giant button on a system without it a lot going wrong.
Yes. We could stop the entire drum corps
You could.
with the E-stop.
Could, and I just imagine the entire core actually just powering down, like they're all androids.
That's it. We kill the power right there. All the batteries.
Yeah.
Wow.
That takes us back to '90s drum corps right there. You know,
Yeah.
all acoustic, baby.
What? I feel like you're still talking in code here. Are we trying to send people down a wild goose chase here? Is there anyone who would be able to get down to the mystery of what happens there if I include this with no explanation?
No.
All right. So what I've discovered is that those wires they don't go anywhere. I can see it right there. Yeah. Okay, so mystery 1 is that doesn't go anywhere. But they said that there's a battery in it for some reason. But let's look at the other side. Oh, nothing over there. So there's a battery in there. So if it was going to do anything, it would have to be wireless. This doesn't do anything.
The mystery has been solved.
Look at that. Audio expert here.
But it does.
Judges ask questions.
It does create a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I just
Mystery is a good thing. You know?
I had a delightful moment there trying to figure it out.
So from here, we finished up warm up and we're getting our audio train hooked up right now. Let me actually make sure we power down into my sound check scene so that we generally just shut down these carts to make sure that when we power up by the stadium, everything's gonna boot up in sequence. And then the synths are actually gonna stay powered on with these Anchor backup batteries that we have on all 4 of our main carts here. So
all of this is running off of that battery?
backup, just in case.
Okay.
Our generators are primary power, and that's what everything defaults to in terms of our power switchers. So right now, generators are off because they're connected to the train. Right now, my backup battery is on, and that's what it's drawing from. So each battery can last us a couple hours, which is super nice. But then we want to rely on generator power once we get plugged in for the actual show. Just a little more juice, making sure that we don't have any issues staying powered on. Right now, about to take the audio system, everyone's gonna start congregating towards the stadium so that we all arrive around the same time and we can all coordinate getting on the field together. All right, let's hit it. We just wanna get to a flat ground and then we're gonna untrain them.
Okay,
Thank you.
go in right now.
Appreciate it.
Ken, can you get me eyes on that corner that I'm turning? I don't want to hit that person.
Okay, what's happening right now?
So now we're about 3 to 4 minutes from rolling onto the field. We're kind of in the standby position, but the team's going through their final checks. We're powering up the console, and if I've done my job, I sit back and let the machine run, trusting that the team has everything ready to go.
Drum Corps International is proud to present the Bluecoats.